When awakening kicks in your door. Now, we know that awakening is never pretty, and I want to explore some of this with you with a passage from my book, Words from the Wild. But before we begin, I would just want to invite you to come into a place of stillness. Come in to your heart. So place both hands over your heart and just feel it beating beneath your palms. It's proof that you're alive even when everything feels like it's falling apart. And I think for most of us, that could be pretty much every day. But let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. And with every exhale, just feel your body relax just a little bit more. You don't have to have anything figured out. If you're in a void, if you've been stopped, in your tracks, if you're at a crossroads and if you've got no blooming idea what's going on, just know that your wild heart is still here. You're still here. You're still beating. Your heart is still holding you. Just breathe in to that knowing and know that you are not lost. You're just between. And that's a really sacred space. So, chapter 1 is called Betrayal. Awakening is a bitch. She doesn't knock politely or ask if you are ready. She kicks the door in, tracks mud across your pristine coping mechanisms, and doesn't care that she has trodden on your feelings. Her only job is to prod you awake. My biggest awakened bitch arrived as a fractured spine. I was stopped dead in my tracks. I could barely move, barely walk, and barely feed myself. The coach and the consultant who always had brilliant solutions for client problems couldn't think straight through the pain. I didn't need a second invitation. I knew I had to enter the void. Anthropologists call transitional states liminal, that threshold between what was and what will be. Mystics have always known the void as fertile darkness where creation begins. Even nature teaches this. Seeds germinate underground, winter precedes spring, and caterpillars dissolve completely before becoming butterflies. The emptiness is where transformation begins. But here's what no one tells you about awakening. It often arrives through a crisis, illness, loss, through that complete breakdown of everything that you thought you were. Now, awakening isn't interested in your timeline or your comfort. She is only interested in your truth. And you are going to go into the void many times in your life. Now, sometimes the void gets a bit of a bad rep. We call it emptiness or failure or being stuck. And like I say, mystics have always known the void as a really sacred space. And it's not punishment, it's stillness, it's a place of preparation. And this stillness is at the heart of a lot of transformation. It's where your old self kind of breaks down and composts, and you can just imagine that you're in this soil and you're just waiting for that new self to grow. Now, culture, or our culture, Western culture, often teaches us to fear the void, to fill it, to take on productivity hacks, to, if you like, hack our way through it, and to rush into what's next without letting the old die off. We need to fully surrender and let it go. And the void asks you to trust what you can't see yet. We don't have a crystal ball, we can't see around corners, but we just need to sit in the dark of that void, let our eyes adjust. And once we start, or once we stop trying to force clarity and just let it emerge naturally, the way that dawn arrives, slowly and then all at once. So ask yourself right now, What am I trying to rush my way out of? What am I resisting? Maybe it's a relationship ending, a career that is no longer working, an identity that you've outgrown, a version of yourself that perhaps, like me, my body was refusing to carry anymore. And I just invite you, you might not be somewhere that you can say this out loud, but if you can, if you're alone, I am in the void with, hands on heart. I am in the void with. I am in the void with. Don't fix it, don't force it. It really is. It's just that awareness, that acknowledgement of this is where I am. It's like a stake in the ground, and you're just going to sit and have a look around. That's all you need to do. Doesn't need solutions, doesn't need answers. It just needs you, your wild heart, and your presence. So I just invite you to reflect on that, and then in the morning come back to that question. Now, before you reach for your phone, I know I'm a terror for reaching for my phone. Don't look at your to-do list. Just come back and ask that question. What is the void teaching me today? And the answer might be different each day. One day it might be just rest. Another day it might be let it go. Another day might be just surrender to what is coming at you. Another day it might be trust what you cannot see. So just keep coming back to this practice over a period of 7 days. It really is. It's so, so simple. Little micro actions. Track what emerges. So, what is the void teaching me today? Now, I know that we have all of this stuff going on, which is why when we first wake up, when we're in that kind of sleepy liminal state, this is the perfect time to ask the question and put our pen to paper. So the void is not going to come at you and slap you around the face like, with a wet kipper. You have to be quiet enough to hear it. So if you're ready to dive a little bit deeper, we could try a wild heart letter. So there's wild heart letters at the back of the book. And it's a letter from the void itself. So set aside maybe 10, 20 minutes, whatever works for you, where you're not going to be interrupted. Light a candle, sit somewhere that feels like the perfect space to do this. Mine would be in bed. So write a letter that begins with dear, your name. So dear Dale, I am in the void and I am the void. And what I want you to know is this. I will get my words out. I am the void. And what I want you to know is this. Let the void speak through your heart. It's not writing about what the void is. This is the void writing to you. Now, it might be strange. And as they say, trust the process. So the void might tell you that it's protecting you from something. It might be preparing you for something. Just let any old patterns emerge. You might get images or sensations, feelings. You might feel something in your body somewhere. I often get the words to a song. And when I go and look at that song, look at the lyrics, I find out a deeper meaning. Or sometimes I'll see a picture or I'm taken back into a memory. Okay, the biggest part is I try to analyze, but it's just let that image emerge and just write whatever the void is telling you. So it's not about editing. It's not about trying to get clarity. It's just right from that beautiful, fertile darkness. And I want you to write to feel, not to heal, because healing will follow, healing will come. And then if you've set a timer, when it goes off, just read what you wrote and notice what your wild heart is saying and notice how that feels in your body. And I always like to end things with a little bit of a ceremony. And obviously this depends where you are, but you could fill like a bowl or a cup, fill it with water and just sit in front of you whatever feels right. You might have an altar, you might want to put some petals in it, and just look at the water. And you might see a reflection of you, depends on what the light is like. But it's the invitation is to kind of almost like make your eyes go cross-eyed, but look through the water and notice that it's both empty and full of potential. And just say, I am the void, and I honor these endings. I trust what I can't see. I am becoming, and that is sacred. And then just sit in silence, 5 breaths. Just feel the stillness, feel the dark, feel them not knowing. And, if it is a cup and you would like to drink it, maybe you've put some ginger in the water, you can drink the water. And that's about hydrating every cell in your body. And as well, water is a reminder that it's giving you life. It's not ending life. And you can do that ceremony once or do it every single day. What might be really lovely is at the end of your 7 days, you sit and do that ceremony with a candle. And again, just see what comes up. So the void is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of possibilities. It's the comma, if you like, before the next bit of the sentence emerges. So just trust that pause and trust your wild heart knows the way through whatever this is that is going on for you. And you can get Words from the Wild on Amazon. So please, please do take a look. Thank you.